Everyone, welcome back to the channel and a new video. I think I'll start by saying I have no idea how the first video of this did because it hasn't gone out yet and we've already started this actual video, and that is because we've just had a call from FG Barnes and the heater matrix is in. So Chris just said, Rob, go and get it. You know, we've got a bit of a gap today. He's going to start removing centre console, trims, etc, etc, get as much of it out of the way as he can, see if we can get to it, but it's highly likely it's going to be dashboard out, but we got a bit of time, so we're going to crack straight on with it. We'll leave it with you, Chris.
All right, mate.
How awkward does that look?
Well, I'm just having a look. Someone's obviously been in here before.
That was me, mate, yesterday.
Oh, was it?
I pulled that out, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
That is a drain, Chris, and I think that's where the water was coming out of, that little black pipe.
Yep. I'll get me light and I'll get in there and see what we can see.
All right, mate. I'll leave it with you.
Probably glove box out. And
if anything jumps out, you record it.
Well, if any money comes out, I'll be hiding that.
There's plenty in the in the centre console there,
right,
mate. We'll leave it with you and we'll be back shortly.
Yep.
I got shocked here. Chris absolutely flew through this, so glove box out and then move straight onto the centre console, move that backwards, gear stick gator out, and then straight onto the airbag, steering wheel, clocks out, stalks, everything off before I had a chance to actually get back. He just got straight on with it and it was pretty much ready from there. Guys, what do you reckon on the new parts getter? I've had to come to Maidstone, honestly, it's just took me 10 minutes. This is an hour round trip if I was leaving the yard easily because of the traffic. And in there, little heater matrix. It was in a ginormous box and we whipped it out of the box and it's tiny, so let's get straight back to the yard.
So quite straightforward there. Quite a few bolts and screws to remove, but all pretty simple stuff. I must admit it's the first one of these MGs I've worked on, but yeah, pretty self-explanatory once you start tearing it apart. There was one sneaky, and that was a single 8mm bolt in that little hole there that's part of the dashboard reinforcing or the metal frame, and I had to remove the scuttle and the gearbox there, the wiper motor mechanism and gearbox there to get to that. There's only 3 bolts on that, so quite easy to get out. And that is because there's a bracket goes up under there. Can't really see it from there, but there's a bracket there, and I've just got sight of the end of the 8mm bolt poking through, so that was why I took the scuttle out. But yeah, I'm just waiting for Rob to get back and he can give me a lift out with the dashboard now, because it's ready to come out, so fingers crossed he'll be back soon. No messing about there from Chris, guys. I thought I'd do a bit of time saving, fly over on the Harley. I reckon if I'd have left it another 10 minutes or half hour, gone in the van, he'd have had it on the floor, but quite straightforward, he said. Yeah, we're just going to lift it out, Rob. Lift it out. He's removed the whole dash with the basket, so with the framework behind it. We've not done that on the channel before. Do you want to leave it rolling? Yeah, I'll leave it rolling, yeah. That column's just got to feed through there, mate. You're coming out straight like that? I think so, yeah. It's caught on these, on the metal things at the bottom there. How's that? Yeah, if you tilt back now, that's it. We're going your way or mine? Can do, go my way. Right, one sec. If you stop there, I'll come around it. Or is it all right? Not too heavy? No. And then I guess I'll show the new heater matrix. You can do. Can I just show the back of that first? We never took one out with the whole framework connected to it. But that's the bracket and the bolt I was referring to. I've done a little cutting while you was out, Rob. Right. And you have to take the scuttle out. And the bolt's behind it? Yeah, from under there, just one. Well, funny, I think it was the Mark II Astras were like that. Was they? Yeah. You made light work of it? It's quite simple, that. Don't mean anything by it, but a bit before my time, Mark II Astra. I'm joking. So, the new heater matrix is down there on the floor. But you know what we're going to probably have to do, Rob? Yeah. Which is a bit of a... Going to have to put it on the truck somehow, aren't we? Yeah.
take it for a degas.
Possibly.
Because if we can't get that, you can see, guys, those pipes actually sit that way round. So if I'll get you the demo of that, Chris, I've got it. That's how that bolts onto the car. So that goes inside that heater box. I mean, we're going to try. We are going to try.
Those pipes are like that, aren't they? So she lays flat.
Right.
So the air passes through it that way.
Yeah.
So
we might be able to undo that and get away with it. I guess there's only one way we're going to find out.
What's that on the side there?
I should think that's pollen filter, just at a guess, but I might be wrong. It's got one Phillips screw in it. Actually, Chris, it's that.
That is it?
It is that.
Yeah.
Let's get a few more screws undone and then we'll do a cutting,
I think you still have to take that out because you never slide that out with it. Those pipes go through the bulkhead.
Yes, right, yeah.
So all that's got to be removed.
Yeah. We might just get enough flex.
So someone told you it's just a glove box out. I think they was...
the man at MG, I said, have you done one? He went, nah, but I think it's just a glove box out.
Nah. Yeah. They don't stick through far, do they? But they stick through about that much through the bulkhead.
Yes.
So that whole unit's got to come back.
Yeah.
And then that can go out that way past.
I mean, if we can do it, we're going to do it. But it's looking like we're going to have it out. Let's get a few more bits undone. And we'll have a look. Again, it's one of them situations, guys. It's not what you know, it's who you know. I've actually just got one of my mates to stop on his way home from work. He's an aircon engineer and he's going to vac it out. He's got reclaim bottle there, so he's going to vac it out. And I just said, yeah, we don't want it back because when we take it to get everything else done, we get it tracked up. Unfortunately, I can't put him on camera because he does work for a company and he's just doing this as a bit of a favour for us. So let's get this done and we'll carry on. So a bit tricky this is to actually get out. There's a couple of bolts you can see round the back. Chris was undoing the 10mm here at the front and then I went under the bonnet and removed the aircon pipes, removed a couple of little 8mm bolts, 3 8mm bolts in fact, was holding that from the inside, and I think there was 3 10mm on the inside holding it in. Once they was released, you can see, moved it away there and it pulled straight out. So here goes nothing. These little bolts went through the bulkhead, guys, so I had to go around in the engine bay and pull them out. I think that's about it. That's all that's holding that in, is it?
Well, that cover was holding it in.
Yeah,
you
over the top of it.
in the car, didn't you?
Oh, look, there's your leak, Chris.
Yep, there we go.
That
is, yes.
Yeah, that's soaked, isn't it? Do you think, just for the purpose of this video actually, and I think it'd be really interesting, should we block one of them off, fill this up with water and put the airline in there?
Yeah, or just run the hose pipe through it, you might see it.
Don't know if it'd do it under that pressure, would it?
You might see it, I think.
Do you reckon?
I mean...
Oh yeah. Let's not even bother. I heard that leaking out then.
Yeah.
That is definitely toast and should look like that. Is that going straight in or is there a bit of clean up to do in there?
I think we'll give it a little clean up.
We'll do that, guys, get it blown out with the airline. And then it was literally that little cover that locked it in there. That side cover, and then it's got the little foam topping over the top. You've got your mic on, mate, that'd be so loud. Yeah. Guys, we'll let Chris give that a clean up and then we're... Oh, it's done. Ready for the new one. Let's stay rolling. The box for this, obviously I went on my bike. It was like a Amazon parcel.
Was it?
You know what I mean by that, don't you?
Yeah.
The box was 5
overkill.
times too big for it. There was no way it would have fitted in my bag. I said to the guy, would you mind cutting it open? And he laughed. He went, oh, it's a bit overkill, that box, isn't it? Mate, we'll let you get that all bolted back in and then get it lined up. Get these bolts back in and start piecing it back together, I guess. That's it. You enjoying doing this?
Yeah, easy work, isn't it? No, we ain't allowed to say that.
We're not allowed to say that.
No, straightforward work, isn't it?
Straightforward. But it's going to be all right. That was so. I'm so glad we see that matrix in that state.
Yeah.
Because it's. We knew it was that, but you don't know until you actually see it here. Maybe we'll talk Chris into doing another test on that with the hose pipe in a little while.
Thing is, the pipes, the hoses that go to these.
Yeah.
you've joined together.
I bypassed, yeah.
There's no water leak.
No water leak at all.
So
no.
it's not lost any water in 2 days.
No.
So it cannot be anything other than.
You're going to refit this one as well?
Yeah,
Might
I'll just
as well,
finish this first.
So straight back in, popped in exactly as it come out. I helped Chris hold it there, get the wiring over the top of it, and then I went straight under the bonnet with the 8mm. Chris done the 10s, and then straight back in with the dashboard. I must admit it was a very easy way of doing it with that framework. Right guys, what we've decided to do is not actually film any more of Chris putting all that back together in there. And in Chris's famous last words, if you do want to see him do it, watch it backwards. Watch the first bit backwards. That's what you said in the last video. Everyone enjoyed that, Chris. That's why I thought I'd mention it again. So moving on. Sorry guys, that unplugged the charger there. Scuttle panel, wiper motors back in, aircon pipes back on, heater matrix all plumbed back up. So I've just got to put the wipers on under here. And then I think Chris has nailed the worst of it there. Steering column looks like it's all bolted back up where it should be. He's just moving on to the cowling, and then it is all the little bits of fitting up. It's the fitting up that takes the time, Chris, isn't it? Like the cowling, the glove box, all the trims. And
previously said, it is quite simple. This one, it's yeah, not like some of the complicated stuff we do.
No,
it was the other side. But yeah, all reasonable.
Right, mate, we're going to leave you to crack straight on with it, and I'm going to chuck the wiper blades on, then get in here and give you a hand, I suppose.
Really good, mate.
And just like that, there we go. All back together. Had it running for about 5 minutes. The cold light's gone out, so just going to let it get up to temperature again, and then I guess test the heaters out. Make sure they come out hot. And I think job will be a good one. Yeah, I'm assuming that's going to have solved it anyway. You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? That's not going to come out hot just yet. So we'll let it get really hot, because the plan is, I've actually got a service kit for it as well, and you can see the workshop ramp's now empty. So we'll let it get really hot, check that the fan's cutting in, check that the heaters are coming out hot, and then that's a good opportunity as well to drop the oil, isn't it? But yeah, it really has. It's been okay to do, and Chris said that was, you know, not easy. What was the work? Relatively simple, all self-explanatory work to do. So let's let it get hot and get it on a ramp. So in the workshop, up on the ramp, and you'll see me wandering around underneath there. I noticed something, and I'll show you when we do a cutting in a minute. So drain tray, 15mm nut there, release all the oil, and then I went to the toolbox, got the little oil filter tool, waiting until the oil had completely drained, stick the plug back in so it don't leak out anymore, empty the drain tray, and then drop the filter straight into the drain tray. Out with a new one, bit of oil around the seal, screw it on, done. So drain plug back in, new oil filters in. See, it was quite easy to get to there, and that is literally not leaking. That's a bit of brake cleaner I've sprayed on there. But here's the bit I was saying in the time lapse was interesting, guys. Check that out. All the way to the back of the car, rusty water, and that is all it is, look. But can you see that? That is the little rubber bung that all the water's been coming out of. That's obviously the drain from the heater matrix. There's not really a lot of point in cleaning all this up. It is just gonna, as soon as you hit a little bit of rain on the floor, it is gonna wash it off. This is where it's been going on for quite some time, that it's actually caused all of that. But apart from that, very straightforward. Let's get it down, put the new oil in it. So down we come for the oil in, air filter, and that's it under the bonnet. No, sorry, 4 spark plugs as well. But as you can see, I've got the air filter removed, and then it all become apparent that I actually had the wrong air filter. It was about 1/3 the size, and actually the spark plugs had a completely different number on them to the ones that I'd received. So that's all going to need to go back. So would you believe, this is actually the next day. I had to cut it short. It was a bank holiday weekend when I started it. I picked up the service kit and the air filter was actually wrong, and so was the spark plugs. I just thought I'd show you guys the air filter, because normally you just see it on time lapse and it's in and out and that's all you see. But look at the difference there in colour. It definitely is going to benefit from having that new air filter on it. And also the plugs. So where did I just put that? There it is there. So this is one of the plugs out of it. And when he quoted it, he said they're long life plugs for like 60, 70,000. And it turns out they're actually not. So the plugs that we bought for it were about £11 each. And these ones were £2 something each. So I went round, swapped them round this morning and actually got about a £40 refund on the service kit. Quite a lot of you in the first video said, I'm not even going to try and say that. Is it SAIC Motors? A lot of people said, oh yeah, that MG, that's SAIC Motors. And of course you're all absolutely correct. That's exactly what it says on the engine. I'm going to continue on now. Just get these new plugs in, get the air filter in there, and then we can run it up and hopefully get it over for some aircon and have the tracking, etc. done. Let's crack on. I really want to get this one done. So the next day, the correct filter into the filter housing and the correct plugs as well, all gapped up. There's 2 coil packs on this and then 2 pigtails that come off the back for obviously cylinder 1, and then a coil pack in number 2, and then cylinder 3 with a coil pack, and then number 4. All done. Sounds lovely. It was very quiet anyway, wasn't it? So I'm just going to run it up for just 5 minutes or so, let the oil get up to temperature, I guess. Then I'm going to turn it off, dip the oil, and then recheck it. It did say it holds 4.1 litres from completely empty. But we know, guys, once you take the oil and the filter out, that's not completely empty. There is still oil in the engine, isn't there? Around everything. So unless you left the drain plug out for probably 2 days, you wouldn't get 99% of it out. So we'll just double check that in about 5 minutes, top that off, and I think we are good to take it over, get the aircon regassed, get the tracking done, and I think we're pretty much there with it. Lovely little car. The rear bumper, actually, I haven't mentioned that. What I did was actually, you got that little edge in here, guys, haven't you, that clips into the plastic. Now, all of that edge was bent over where the bumper's been pulled off. It was all bent over, and then they'd just pushed it back and actually put that smart repair through it. So I've taken that out, I've warmed that up, straightened it all back out, and you can see it's actually all clipped back in. The little tiny clip down here, you can see that little tiny edge is broke on the edge of the bumper there. So that is going to want a little something behind there. I've put a little tiny bit of stopper in the holes, and we're going to buy a touch-up pen and touch them in. Yeah, I think we're good. What a cracking little car. 4 wheels off, up on the little ramp. White's being gassed, so they can balance all the wheels. And then we go straight round after into tracking, and then jobs are good and we'll be done. Wasn't going to record Rich today, I was just going to let him get on with it, because I said the car drives perfect. It's probably not even out. Just goes to show you, that's worth checking. Rich said that's miles out. It did, honestly, it drove really nice. There's no issues with it. But he'll get that straightened out and we're done. He said he was only under there for a minute and it's done. Absolutely bang on. Let's get back to the yard. This should be the easiest set of numbers that we've ever done. And you can tell Chris ain't here today because I've written it on the back of a box, just trying to save. So quite a lot of you did in the first video. Everybody really enjoyed that video. It done fantastic numbers and the comments were really good. Everyone was in there having a guess what they thought it'd be worth. I think was pretty much around the same sort of number as me and Chris, and that was, it is a £2,000 car. It is, if you can live with it, it's a cheap car for £2,000, but it is very, it's a bit bitty, isn't it? Like inside, it's quite hacked up with a screwdriver. I mean, that is not going to affect the way that car drives, but it's whether you can live with it or not. It is quite horrible in there, like looking at all the little digs. You've got that smart repair on the back. I did remove that. I've clipped the bumper in. I've put a little bit of stopper in there and just tapped them in with a little bit of red paint. And it just took the eye off it. It looks fine. And then around the car, there is various little scratches and scrapes. I think there's only one dent in the near side front wing, but there is a lot of marks around it. So let's get down to the numbers. 500 quid, £82 for a matrix, £80 at A2 tyres, tracking, balancing, and he charge the aircon. I know they look after us, guys, and I know you say I couldn't get that for £80, but we take every single car there. And like I showed you, I wasn't even going to have it tracked, and I thought, no, let's double check it, and it was out. Service items, £128, oil, filters, and 4 spark plugs. Valet, 20 quid, gives us a total of £810. So it just shows you, even a little car like that, I nearly called it a banger then, it's not a banger, is it? Even a little cheapie like that, you can still earn good money out of it. So selling it at 2,000 quid would give us a pre-tax profit of £1,190. But unfortunately, on this occasion, it's not actually going to be available. Now, Claire, her sister and her brother, for months, actually years, have been going on at me every time that little Chevrolet's due an MOT. Oh, we really need to get her a new car. Rob, can you keep your eye out for a new little car for her? So I actually said to Chris the other day, do you know what? That's not going to bother her. Them little things are not going to bother her at all. She only whips shopping, or she pops over to see Claire once a week, once a fortnight, and that's going to be the perfect little car. So I'm going to have a sort out with her sister and her brother and her, and have a bit of a sort out with Chris, get a profit into the company, but Claire's mum, ultimately, but between me, Claire and her sister and her brother, we're going to give her that car. So that is where that little car's going. I know that will disappoint some people, but we've got to choose first, haven't we? We done the car, we bought the car, we get first shout on it. I'm not trying to justify it. Her mum is having that little car regardless. It's her birthday next week, and we are going to give it to her for her birthday. So don't forget, anyway, if you do reach out on Instagram, please always include your telephone number. If you don't put your telephone number in there, I can't get back to you. If you want to buy one of our future cars, if you want to sell us your car, when you reach out, guys, always include your telephone number. That's the end of today's video and the end of the series on the little MG3. I keep forgetting the name of it. If you did enjoy the video, hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. Don't forget, like, subscribe and share, and we'll see you very, very soon in the next one.